good afternoon, good evening, good day, and good morning, Blurtsters, wherever you are around the world. You are listening to the Blurt.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we gather, the Turrbal people of Yuggera land, as well as the Woiwurrung people of the Wurundjeri land. We recognise their continued connection to the land and waters of this beautiful place, and acknowledge that they never ceded sovereignty. We respect all Turrbal and Woiwurrung elders and ancestors, and any First Nations people here today.
Good evening. We're back, baby. We're back. I hope you missed this. We missed doing this show, I've got to tell you. We had logistical issues in New Zealand, and then we had, I think, heat distress in Darwin. So I'm not exactly sure what was happening in Darwin, but we will talk a little bit more about that when my illustrious co-host comes back onto the scene. So we're very happy to be back. There's been a lot of things happening since we've been away, and one of them is the American midterms. If you know anything about the American elections and how they work, or actually, if you don't, we will give you a little bit of an explainer in Party in the USA tonight, which will be one of our segments. Beerducation is back. We haven't done Beerducation, Wencee's favourite segment. We haven't done that for quite a few weeks, so we tried to do it a couple of weeks ago, but it was a disaster. So anyway, our loss is your gain. Beerducation will be very good. So that's back tonight. All about beer, obviously. And Green There, Done That, which is our climate segment. And tonight I'm talking about how the world's going to be approaching 8 billion people. Yes, that's billion people. Very, very soon. And I think at 2050, they're expecting nearly 10 billion, which is going to be interesting with how our climate will be at that time and et cetera, et cetera. So we'll have to do a little bit of a deep dive in there. And Wencee's going to be talking about Red Cycle. I've heard of Red Cycle. It's a very good organization. So that will be very cool. And I will bring up... there's another, I wrote it down the other day, Something 360. If anyone can remember what it is, Something 360, it's all about donating laptops and those sort of things to people that really need them when you've probably gone through yours, as it were, and maybe you need a new one. So if anyone's out there and they can think of Something 360, I can't remember what it's called, but I do know, I think the CEO's name is Fred. I know I'm not giving you a lot to go on, but you might just know. But anyway, we are going to be promoting that organization because they're a fantastic organization, and hopefully, maybe be able to get a representative or the representative onto the show. But with all of that, we've got a very tight show tonight. We've got commitments afterwards. We need to crack on as soon as we possibly can. So the only thing that can mean is that it's time for me to bring in the one, the only, Wencee! What, were you dead? What was the situation? I don't know what was going on.
I was looking elsewhere and I was focusing on so many other things today because I'm excited because it's been 2 weeks, like you said. We haven't been on this show for ages.
I know.
It feels like an eternity.
It is. I had to remember how to do everything. I was like, people don't probably realize, but we actually do put some work into this show, and we actually do bits of research and all the rest. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. And it all takes time. It all takes time, and yeah, it is. It's really, really good to be back. So it's really. I tell you what isn't good to be back. If you're Alex Jones in America, we've spoken about him on this show before. He has a horrible podcast, and I think channel or show or something called InfoWars. And in America, and he's been banging on for the longest time about the Sandy Hook massacre being a complete and utter farce, and that there was crisis actors involved and all these just vile, disgusting. Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, he is now up for another 473 billion.
Yeah, 4 billion, wasn't it?
No, 473 billion. Billion.
Jeez.
He was with a B. He was already up for 989 million. Oh, no, sorry, you're right, correct. With an M.
With an M. Okay. Because that would have to be, regardless how big that number is, it's got to be one of the highest.
All right, okay. All right, okay. I get it. It's fine.
It's got to be one of the highest payouts that someone's had to pay there in America.
Well, absolutely, because the other one was 989 million, and this one's 483 million. But he's been on his show. In fact, apparently, he was simulcasting when he was in the courtrum or something, and he's just going, "Oh, look, another million! They're giving me another million. Here we go. Here's another million." I'm like, the guy's worth about, I think the guy's worth about 200 million or something.
How does someone pay that much money? How does that work?
He has to go bankrupt, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess.
But
hopefully that means the end of InfoWars, but I'm sure there'll be legal battles before that ever happens.
Yeah, well, there's a little handed man with an orange head. Until he goes away, I'm
sure he'll get some help from that orange head.
Yes, well, gee whiz, what can you do? But anyway, you've been away, and what have you been doing up in Darwin?
I was in Darwin attending my brother-in-law's wedding, which happened on a beach just outside of the city centre in a place called Nightcliff. So it was right along the beach. It was quite.
I just
quite
thought
nice,
Darwin was a beach. I thought it was just like one big beach.
No. There's quite a number of beaches. Not that you go in there. You may not come out of it alive, but
yes. But for any of our international listeners, yes, you can get eaten by going to a beach up in the north in Australia. Yeah. You have crocodiles that come very close to the sea waters, I believe.
If not onto the beach, and if you're not nibbled at by a crocodile, you might get stung by jellyfish. So take your pick. If you want to go swim, take your chances. So,
and I'm sure there's deadly snakes all around, and probably deadly spiders not far away as well.
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful.
And those deadly drop bears as well. Don't forget them.
Beautiful, hospitable piece of Australia. Fantastic. I must admit, though, I have been to Darwin, and I did have a good time, and I didn't die. I came back. So, but it is bloody hot. There's no doubt.
Oh, it is. Just don't go this time of year where it's really hot and muggy. It is the start of their wet season. So even though it was 33 degrees most days, it actually felt like 37 to 40 degrees without humidity.
God.
So, yeah.
As soon as it gets over 30 for me, I'm done. Yeah. I'm like, that's it. No more. Don't give me. I don't need. You don't need to do 31. I'm happy with 30. Quite. That's fine. In fact, for me, that's a little bit hot, but I'll handle it.
I would definitely prefer the Melbourne 38 degrees, but with the dry heat over 33 degrees and the humidity.
Well, that's the thing. Hey, I came back from New Zealand and we were getting, 18 and boring. No, 18 degrees, and it was just, it was just, the weather was fine. It was good. You could walk around in shorts and be quite happy, and et cetera, et cetera. But not be too cold, not be too hot, as it were. Very, very Goldilocks weather. But I came back to 29 degrees. And on the day, on the day that I came, no, not nice. On the day, on the day that I came back, they were showing humidity at 93%.
Oh, ouch! Yeah,
it was horrible. I hated it.
That's a lot.
And the Mozzies love it, so I hate it.
Yeah, Mozzies and me just don't get on.
No,
although they do like me a lot, but yeah, we're just not friends.
No, so all right, okay, cool. So that was the Darwin experience. Was the wedding all right?
Yeah, it went really well. Had the celebrant do her thing, and nice background with the rocky outcrop in the background of bride and groom. And then once it was all over, it was shoes off, and it was nice. barefoot wedding, pretty much.
What, by everyone?
Pretty much everyone. Yeah, the celebrant didn't have shoes on. The groom did.
He had thongs on, I imagine.
No, he actually was all dressed to the nines. So he had his he had his suit on, shoes and socks on. So yeah, felt sorry for him and the bride because she was wearing the big fluffy dress. Sorry.
Yes, that's what you're looking for. Dress. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Darwin's taking the vocabulary out of you.
That's
what Darwin's done. It's but anyway, look, I could listen to you all day on that because that sounds so cool. But we just don't have time tonight, so we have to move on. So no, not tonight. So we need to have a word from our sponsor first.
The Australia Institute produces high-quality research that has real-world impact, whether it's revealing the $10.3 billion in fossil fuel subsidies provided by federal and state governments last year, or our long-standing research advocating for a federal anti-corruption commission with real teeth. We change minds. To donate, head on over to australiainstitute.org.au.
To get on the beers.
So I wonder if Dan will be getting on the beers in it's 11, 12 days' time.
Yeah,
11 days time, I think. So.
I'm sure you're gearing up for that.
Yeah, well, I've tried to vote a couple of times, but it's been a pain in the ass because the other day it was pouring rain, and in my moon boot, I don't really like hanging out in the rain. It's
What? You have a moon boot?
Oh, yes, I forgot to talk about that. We don't have enough time.
Don't have time. Let's talk about it next week.
Absolutely.
Same as the Victorian elections next week.
Yes, we will actually. We will do that. Yeah, because that would make total sense. Yeah, absolutely do that. Anyway, Beerducation, it's back. It's Wencee's favourite segment. So over to you, Wencee.
Alrighty. Thank you for the reminder. I do need to share my tasting notes.
Or as I wrote in the chat, tatsing notes.
Yes, tatsing. Can you see?
I can't see shit at the moment. Oh, yes, I can. That was terrible.
There we go.
I said I can't see shit, and then all of a sudden you and I came up, and that was just not that irony was not on. I didn't
no, and let's hope none of these are shit.
No, well, I've got high hopes for this. I think it's going to be awesome. Yeah. So looking forward to it.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so who's going to go first?
You can. Is that okay?
I can. Yes, I can.
Look, in case you have just come down in the last shower, this is a segment on the new Blurred. That's what you stumbled onto of Beerducation. And we take this moderately seriously, and we actually give you certain appearances and smells and tastes, and then we give you a score. And you listen to our reviews, as some of our wonderful listeners have. They've gone out and got themselves a pretty damn good beer.
Yes, that's right. Alrighty. Because I didn't prepare this earlier, I am now ready. Alrighty. So my one is called Dainton. The brewery is Dainton. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, I can.
You can?
Yeah. Oh, so, wow. Okay. Wow. Is that a face? It's a face.
It is a face.
With a cat.
That's the one-eyed cat.
Wow. Dainton.
There's
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Where's that from?
It's a limited edition red IPA called Red Eye Rye. That's a mouthful. Say that a few times when you've had a few of these. It's from down your neck of the woods, southeast Melbourne in Carrum Downs.
Oh, I'd like to hear that. That's awesome.
And so this one was started by Dan Dayton and his father Kev back in 2013. It's a small brewery, and they have a tap house and where you can order meals and taste their range of beers. Some of their other beers that they do, they have a non-alcoholic XPA called New Age. They do a pink lemonade sour, hazy IPA, a blood orange NEPA, hazy pale, and a West Coast IPA. But
These
So
are
it's a big range.
what was that? Did you say South Carrum Downs? Did you say, is that right?
Carrum Downs.
Carrum Downs.
Carrum Downs. So
Downs.
not far from where you
No,
are.
not
Well,
that. Yeah, I don't think it's that far away.
No.
No, definitely from Mooney Ponds. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really I'm excited to see what it tastes like.
All right. So this one, the one I'm going to try is called the Red Eye Rye Limited Edition.
Okay.
It comes in a 440ml can. According to them,
what
the
would one be
description-
relieved from for buying one of those?
This one will set you back about $10.
Wow. Okay.
But it is a bigger can than normal.
Yeah, it does look like a big can. How big is the can?
The 440s as opposed to
that's an American pint. That's an American pint.
Is it? There you go.
Yeah, they're not strong enough.
Yeah, it's not a serious pint. No.
Yeah,
so this one, they've described it as spiciness from the rye combined with a gorgeous caramel toffee crystal malt character give this brew the backbone to throw plenty of different hops at it. Well, let's see if they're right.
Give it a go.
Crack it open.
Give it a go.
Without it spilling. Okay. Sorry, that's off camera for a reason. Okay, now comes the pour.
Oh, yeah, it's very red. It's definitely got that part right. I love a red ale too. It's going to be...
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourites these days. For 12 months or more. It's got a bit of a head.
Really good one in New Zealand. A red ale. It's lovely.
I was really looking forward to your beer tasting last week in New Zealand or the week before. Never happened.
The good part was I did actually get to taste it. I just didn't get to let the listener know.
No, that's right. But anyway. So this one,
very nice.
Appearance, beautiful red, brownish colour. So I'll give that a 9.
And for the smell?
For the smell.
The wafterance.
Okay, I can smell a bit of the caramel and a bit of the hoppiness.
Okay.
So I went straight to taste without telling you the smell. Cool. Bit too eager there. I'm going to give the smell 7.
How dare you?
I better go for another taste.
You've just broken the process. How dare you?
I know. I'm sorry. I'm out of practice.
It's too easy. It's too easy. You look at it and just go, give me that beer.
Okay, it's not very bitter. Its IBU rating is 30. So IBU is the bitterness scale. So the lower the number, the less bitter it is.
IB me, not you. So that's all right.
That's correct. So taste, I'll give it a 24.
Okay.
After taste.
All right.
If you like your bitterness, you can still taste the lingering bitterness in your mouth.
Okay.
Which I don't mind. So I'm going to give it 17.
Okay.
Drinkability. Would I go back for it again? Yes, I would. Let me try again. Yes, I would. 25 for that one.
87. That's a big one.
Oh, geez, you've been doing the scores well. Well done.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Work. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's a good recommendation. So definitely make sure the listener knows that one.
Yeah.
And can they get it anywhere, or is it any particular?
I'm guessing most good craft bottlers. I've got my local one, which is great for all those
crafties,
small craft and small breweries. There's a whole heap from New Zealand there. They've got Canadian, they've got US beers as well. So that's why I like going back to that one. So, do
you know, I never knew Panhead was Kiwi. I thought that was Australian.
Oh, right. I thought that was Aussie too.
Yeah, no, it's not. And I was, that's the thing with New Zealand. I was blown away by how many craft breweries they've got. I mean, I know we'll obviously have more because we've got a lot more land, but for the littlest place they are, I think they've got like something like 500 craft breweries or something.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. They've only got about 4 million people.
Yeah.
So, because a million of them are living here. So,
Yeah.
the other million or the other 500,000 are traveling, or well, they were. They used to be traveling. I'm not sure if they still are. But anyway, tight show's a good show, especially tonight.
Exactly. All right, so let's get on with your one.
Yes. So here we go. I'll get back into the camera. Where's the camera?
It's
There we go.
high.
There we go. You see that?
Yep, so it's Golden Pipes.
Golden Pipes Brewing. And I found it a little bit difficult because I wanted to get a Melbourne. I wanted to get a Victorian craft beer. And I looked and I went, okay, this looked good. A 5.2. See how we go. But I realised that down the bottom it said Pinnacle Drinks, and then it said New South Wales. And I was like, what's going on? Pinnacle. And so what it's all about is different like restaurants and sort of drink companies partnering with craft breweries. And this is one they've partnered with, but it is actually brewed in Melbourne.
Okay.
So this is a hazy pale. And as we know, we don't do what I just did.
What have you done? Because it's off camera.
Yes, I know.
For a reason.
Which is probably good. I'll see if I can get that in the camera through my. Is it just going to be?
Might need to put it in front of you. There we go.
There it is. It's coming in.
You can just see it. It's nice and golden. I can see the golden color.
There it is. There it is. I'll just lift it up there. Shit.
The joys of having a virtual background.
There it is.
All right, that's it.
You can see it. So it's a lovely color. It's a really lovely color. That's cool. That covers my whole head. You can't see anything there. Nothing at all. There you go. I'm gone. Anyway.
That's got a big head. Oh, hang on. What are we talking about here?
Yes, wow.
Keeping it clean, by the way.
Definitely. Smell, beautiful. So good. Such a lovely smell. Very nice. Really nice. Probably 8. It's a lovely whiff. It's very, very good. I love the appearance. I think that's beautiful for a hazy ale. Although, to be honest with you, for a hazy, it probably should be a little bit hazier.
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell with the way it's going on and off.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as hazy as it could be. So let's give it a 7 for appearance. 7. Yeah. Smells 8. Smells 8. And here we go for the taster. Hey. Oh, she's a good beer.
Yeah.
She's very, very nice. I'll get this again. 26, I think. Yeah, she is a keeper.
26.
Very, very good. Very, very good.
Aftertaste.
I'm not a big aftertaste man. I don't like a massive aftertaste. I'm quite happy for it just to go.
Just to disappear.
And then just crack on again. And it does that, which I'm very happy about. So I'll give that 17.
17.
Oh, that's a really good beer.
Drinkability.
26.
26. And total of, whoa, that's pretty high too. 84. I cheated.
How did you cheat? Oh, adding. All right.
Yeah, I used a calculator.
Oh, did you win again? You won again. Unbelievable. Yes. Unbelievable.
And I did choose this one mainly because of the graphics. That's one thing I do like about the craft beers is I love the artwork.
Yeah, well, see, I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't think that was bad. It's not as good as yours, but I didn't think it was bad.
Let's have a look again. Okay, I can see pipes. Oh yeah, I do like that one too. Very industrial.
It is. It's pretty cool. But when I was in New Zealand, the amount of super cool artwork on so many cans, and it's funny because they've got one beer called Boring Beer,
and it's anything but.
Well, I don't know, but the whole can is white.
Very plain and simple.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a boring beer. That's what it is. And so, the play on is probably isn't. It's probably quite nice. I don't know. But yeah, no, it was amazing how many craft breweries you go into. We went into this place called Liquorland, and
Just like our Liquorland?
do we have a Liquorland?
Yeah, it's Coles owned.
Oh, right. No, a lot bigger than that. It's a bit more like a Dan Murphy's.
Dan Murphy.
But they had a pretty good selection. But what I noticed was there wasn't a lot of Aussie beer. I didn't want Aussie beer. I wanted Kiwi beer anyway.
Yeah.
But I just found it interesting because I always find if I go to Dan Murphy's, there's a lot of Kiwi beer. Mind you, Dan Murphy's does everyone's beer. So that's a little bit different probably. But yeah, they're pretty parochial in that they keep a lot of their own stuff and they do like Japanese and whatever, but I don't know. They tend not to do as much Australian. I'm sure they do it on purpose.
I'm sure there's that rivalry between the two countries. So
well, no, but I don't believe that. I believe you can find Kiwi beer really easily in different stores around Oz.
It's always a smaller selection, though.
Yeah, maybe that's true, but there wasn't any selection.
Yeah.
I didn't want one, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
But
what you didn't want a VB or a Foster's or anything like that while you're there?
Stop swearing at me. That is disgraceful. None of that. Thank you very much.
All right, I'll stop swearing.
Yes, none of that on this program. None on this program. Actually, talking about none of that on this program, as I say, we're going to have to crack on. We've enjoyed our beers, and we both agree that you should go out and get the. What was yours called?
Mine was called the Dainton Beer Brewery, and it's the Red Eye Rye, although it's a limited edition, so that one might be hard to get. But if that is indicative of the other beers,
Of the quality,
go for it. Yeah,
crack it on.
Look out for them. And I forgot to tell you, that one is a 5.3% alcohol.
Right. Okay, cool. This is a 5.2.
Okay, so middle range.
Yeah, middle range.
Yeah.
One of our listeners wrote back to us just recently and said how much they enjoyed one of the beers that you reviewed. Can you remember what that beer was?
Nope, I can't remember.
It was the Bent Spoke Crankshaft.
Oh, yes. I think I reviewed a couple of their beers now. Yeah. The red one, the Red Nut, I think it's called. And I can't remember the other one.
Yes, and they've gone out and duly gone out and got themselves slabs of the stuff.
As they should.
As they should. But as we always say, drink responsibly.
Exactly.
Like a responsible person would. So
yes.
There you go. But so that is Beerducation, and we might have just a tad of this, and then we'll get into Party in the USA.
Oh, might need to turn on the music back on because I stole your share.
I think I know what you said, so I think I'll do that again.
Hey, this is Hannah Melville-Ray from the Australia Institute. I'm listening to the New Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta, and you should be too. It's on Tuesday nights, live from around 8 p.m.
Well, it was meant to be a party in the USA. It was meant to be. In fact, I'm not going to say it was meant to be because I've got a few people that are going to let us know what it was meant to be. This absolute genius on Sky News that unfortunately just happens to be the cousin of Mark Kenny, the studious, illustrious, and very well
related.
Yeah, he's a cousin.
Wow. Total opposite.
Yeah, so poor old Mark has to go to family gatherings.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, with this joker.
You see there's going to be a red wave. It's too early to tell how big it is at the moment, right? But obviously the Republicans in their strongholds already doing well. And I think the focus here is very similar to Australian politics, of course.
Really similar.
Republicans have got back to the grassroots issues.
Yeah, we get
the
heaps
big
of people to
pocket
go up
issues. It's the
to
cost
the
of
Speaker of
living,
the
it's
House
border
that's
security, it's
get a
petrol
hammer
prices,
and
Yeah.
like,
smack
Try to
this
kill
partner
him.
in the
in
head
terms
and
of
then put him in
base
hospital. Yeah,
political
really simple.
operations, there's a
This
lesson
guy is
here,
just a
of course,
complete
for the
dickhead,
coalition
seriously.
in Australia, and not that they need any reminding at the moment, just to focus on energy security, energy prices.
You should focus on energy, buddy. Get some energy to get off that show. No, seriously. Yeah, no, look, energy obviously is an issue at the moment, and obviously it is there, but it's not just here. Energy is an issue all over the world, and it's mainly because of dickheads like that that have been telling the Liberal Party what to do for the last 10 years that we're so far behind the 8 ball now. You know, so it's just ridiculous. But I've got some other really cool stuff and some really bad opinions and different things that people predicted that didn't come true in the midterms. We'll talk about what the midterms are in a minute, but just haven't listen to this genius
incident.
Nancy Pelosi, well, she's got protection when she's in D.C. Apparently her house doesn't have a lot of protection.
Now, Carrie Lake is saying that what you just heard was the result of what she called, quote, creative editing.
Go back and look at the video. A lot of creative editing was done.
Of course.
Carrie Lake's comments obviously were not creatively edited, but here's what it would sound like if they were.
I'm fraught with problems. I'm incompetent. Joe Biden is so attractive. I'm so guilty of crimes. I'm going to be the worst nightmare for the American people. Whoa. They know, because they've heard me, that I want to kill every man, woman, and child in this country. How do you defend that? I'm all for the most racist things that are offensive. And I hope that the cartels arrest your baby.
I thought that was a Steve Colbert. Sounded like it.
Yeah, no. That was a good one. That was particularly a good one. But and the best part about that, Carrie Lake, who is an absolute vile human being, which doesn't make a lot of sense because she was an anchor, and I don't know if it's necessarily for Fox News in America. It might have been, but she was an anchor in the media for quite a long time. And apparently before that, I heard somewhere that she was an international journalist. I believe even in war-torn areas. I'd need to get some more information on that, but apparently she wasn't that much of a Fruit Loop. But anyway, the reason I played that is because at the moment in America they're having what they call is midterm elections. Now, midterm elections is not just about electing what they call a senator, which is there's 2 senators from every state in America. And it doesn't matter how big that state is, it only has 2 senators. So you have the pissy little Ohio or Iowa or Wisconsin, whatever they are. And then you've got your massive California of 44 million people. And they get the exact same amount of representation. It's absolute bullshit. But then, you know, the whole electoral college, as we've talked about before, is. But anyway, so the situation is that I think every 2 years, they do this thing called midterm election. And I, for the life of me, don't understand why. But they do.
It's in the Constitution. That's why.
Well, that's right. But they can't change that because that's just
and
too
it's
hard.
every 4 years, just in between the elections. So the main election is always during the Summer Olympics, and the midterms are always during the Winter Olympics year.
Oh, so it's every 4 years, not every 2 years.
Correct.
But what that means, though, is that they're still electing something or someone every 2 years, correct?
Yeah, pretty
Which
much.
is ridiculous. I mean, how the hell are you meant to get shit done? I don't know how they build that country. Seriously.
I guess it's very similar to our Senate here, because we don't vote for every senator at every election.
No. Senators are in for like 6 years.
6 years or something. Yeah.
Terms or something.
Yeah.
And I don't mind that as a rule, apart from if you're a complete nut job. And as a rule, we don't have too many complete nut jobs. We've got our odd one. Obviously, we got Hanson. But, you know, excuse me, in America, they have quite a few, as I have just presented one.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of other nut jobs that have lost in the midterms. And so we still haven't explained what that is. But anyway, it's all about where they elect new senators in the House and Senate, and in the Congress they elect new congressmen or women, as the case may be. There's 435 in the House, and so therefore you need to have 218 as a majority. And in the Senate, it's 50-50 type thing. So obviously, you've got to have more than 50 to have a majority. Now, at the moment, as it stands in the midterms, we have 50 seats already in the Senate to the Democratic Party, which means they hold the Senate, which means that they can do certain things. But apparently, because, again, the Constitution, it's such brilliantly written, if you lose the House, you can't pass legislation. So it makes, it's ridiculous. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, you can't pass legislation unless someone from the other side will come over and crosses the floor. Only, obviously, if you're in a situation of, say, how it looks like at the moment. I think at the moment, because this has been going on since the 8th of November. What are we in? It's been going, so this has been going.
It's been a week.
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a week, and it's been painstaking. And I've been writing this thing like Farlap. And basically, mainly because the election deniers are just horrible, horrible human beings. So I've just been hoping to hell that these people will lose. And getting back to the start, Kari Lake, that's the other thing I haven't explained. So in these midterm elections, they also have what they call, and this is the best word you'll ever hear in your life. You'll be able to use this in conversation and just spout it at people. Just go, gubernatorial. Gubernatorial.
That is a great word, isn't it?
I've never heard that word before ever. It's just a fantastic word. Anyway, and what does it mean? It means governor elections in America. And so they elect every bastard. Apparently, they elect down to their garbo just about. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
The governors are the ones who elect the police superintendents and all lawmakers and other people in those communities.
They do. They do. And that's why it's so important to have a decent governor with some idea of what the hell they're going to do. And this is why it was so dangerous, because Kari Lake was going for governor of a whole state. And she's basically so close to QAnon, she might as well kiss QAnon's ass. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, she's in Marjorie Taylor Greene's category. She's that bad.
Okay, right.
So and obviously she's saying that there was all fraud because she lost, which is
of course.
So Katie
straight out of the Trump playbook.
Well, they were actually thinking if she won, he might have even thought about grooming her to be his VP.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it was either her or Pauline Hanson's coming over, something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he likes the redheads, I hear. But the thing is, there was another one, Tudor Dixon. She's an actual nut job as well. She lost. That was awesome. Blake Masters, another nut job. So much of a nut job. He went on TikTok and he was talking to some woman on an interview or whatever, and they were talking about someone who's been underestimated in the past of how intelligent they were, and the sort of standing they had in society, etc. And his answer was the Unabomber.
Right.
And this guy is running as governor of I can't remember which state it was, but I'm so glad he lost, because again, that's another one.
What was his name?
Blake Masters. Absolute nut job. Absolute nut job. And there was another one, Doug Mastriano. Absolute dingbat. Just
Christian nationalist, apparently.
Yes. Well, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing, America. They had white nationalists, i.e. KKK, if you like, running in 2022 to be the governor of a state.
Yeah.
I find that I can't. It doesn't compute.
No, even though there wasn't a red wave, as they predicted, what worries me about the American electorate is that they're still divided, almost 50-50. There's still only half the population believe that Biden and a regular democracy is the right way to go, and then the other half still think that, one, the 2020 election was stolen, or that the far right nationalist view is the right way to do it. So it's a bit worrying that the House of Democracy, or whatever you want to call America, what everyone used to look up to, is sort of sitting on the fence of which way it's going to go. And there's just nothing positive about the elections that I see at the moment.
Well, yes and no. This election was actually had a lot of positivity in it. And the reason is because I think there was 3 states or 4 states that have all flipped to Democratic, not just the state, but the whole state house. So as I was speaking before about midterm elections, you don't just vote for your senator and the House, etc. You vote for the governor and you
as well.
vote for the Secretary of State. And then there's another role as well. I can't remember what it is, but those 3 really important roles in the state ensure that free and fair elections take place.
True.
And if you have nut jobs in those roles, that means they can just totally roll the next election and just say, no, I don't want to certify that. And if you want to certify it, I'm going to sack you. I'm going to bring someone in who won't certify it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So
yeah, true, I guess.
So there really has been some positivity, and I think in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully with a bit of luck, I might be able to get Dr. Brendan O'Connor on in 2 or 3 weeks' time, and he can talk about exactly where America is now and maybe, hopefully, where they're looking at going. It all depends on where the orange head tells us he's going to run tomorrow, which I'm thinking he probably will because he's such a doofus. But it's going to be interesting because so many of the people that he handpicked, another one, Mehmet Oz, are not a terrible human being, but just full of shit. And the person that was against Mehmet Oz, Oprah Winfrey, openly endorsed. And Mehmet Oz used to be on her show. So
is Dr. Oz, for those who aren't familiar with the name.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. And he's just, one of those selling crap on a TV show, and he's a doctor and blah, blah, blah. They've got quite a few of them. Anyway, I can't remember. I know surname Fetterman. I can't remember the first name. Anyway, he ended up beating him by quite a lot. And to Dr. Oz's credit, he had a lot of, I don't know, he tried to go alt-right, and in my mind and in my brain, I actually don't think he is that alt-right. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. But he was one of the first people, one of the first Republicans to concede when he lost.
Okay.
He did so graciously, and he moved on it pretty quickly. So, and that's
okay. At least he didn't fight it or claim it was all stolen or fake or whatever.
Absolutely not. Absolutely. But I do have something here from Canada that I thought was fantastic, because apparently when they are looking at the American elections, this is how they see it. So I don't know if anyone's seen this, but this is accurate. What we're looking at for people on the pod, we are looking at, and we'll have it in the show notes anyway, but the screenshot is that everyone gets a puppy on the blue side, which is the Democrats, 50.1%, with a lovely picture of a puppy. And the other side is diarrhea forever, 49.9%, with an appropriate picture. And someone from Canada said, this is accurate. I figure Canada looks at us like that one neighbor. The whole neighborhood is talking about that one nobody really likes but tolerates us to make sure our dog doesn't poop on our lawn. So, I think they've encapsulated that pretty well.
Yeah. I that resonated with me, that sentiment. Yeah, either really nice or, all right, shit my dacks now.
but I mean, you are right. You are right about the divisiveness, and it seems ridiculous by how horrible some of these people. Apparently, there's still another 100-odd election deniers that are in the House still.
So there's still a few. There's the wasn't there a Trump-backed senator or House Rep from Florida.
Oh, you mean Ron DeSantis?
Yes, him.
Oh, as he likes to call him, Ron DeSanctimonious. He's a loser. He's a loser. A loser.
What do you think about him being the presidential run against Trump?
I think Florida is very different to a lot of the rest of the state. For them to keep voting Trump, it's got to be, I don't know. They obviously think, I don't know, they must think group think or something. I'm not exactly sure. But Ron DeSantis, you would definitely not like him. I don't know if you've heard much of his stands for, but he's definitely against anything that has to do with gender differences, and he's very anti-woke, whatever the fuck that means.
Yeah.
All this sort of bullshit, and plays to the audience. So from a Democratic point of view, he's a pretty horrible piece of work. I don't, he's one of those Bible bashing pains in the ass, and holier than thou, but seriously to God, they're just a horrible piece of work. I think he's anti-abortion and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I was just reading something here. He's an anti-immigrant, anti-abortion, anti-LGBTQ plus rights Republican. He won by 20 points, so pretty resounding win.
It was.
He's been appointed by the right-wing media as the future of the Republican Party. So it's a bit frightening if he's that far right that they're touting him as the next president.
The difference is he's as far right, just not quite as corrupt as Orange Head.
Right.
So they're the differences. But all the horrible, horrible, horrible things about Orange Head, he already has.
Right.
He already has all those. But you could say even the worst thing is that he's more competent.
Yeah.
But I feel that if he runs for the whole country, I feel he'll be found out. Because if he runs on anti-gay sentiment and anti-abortion sentiment, et cetera, I think he'll definitely lose. Yeah, I know. I think he'll definitely lose. So, look, just watch your space. Yeah, no, I know. You're spot on. So, as Vicky, our listener, viewer, actually. Hello, Vicky. Has let us know she's 100% correct. Lots of gerrymandering in Florida. Yes, you're 100% correct. And there was lots of gerrymandering tried to be in New York as well, but it was upheld by the Supreme Court. So it meant that, and what does gerrymandering mean? We're going to have to discuss this in length at another time. We just don't have enough time. But we will do another party in the USA in a few weeks' time, and we'll discuss these things a bit more. In fact, what we'll do is we'll have it as the whole segment. And hopefully we get Brendan O'Connor on, and we can
we'll talk about it then with him.
Yeah, it's too easy. Fantastic. We will discuss gerrymandering, and we will put a link in the show notes as well. Now, what we need to do a bit of this, and then we need to really crack on. Okay, so what do we got? We've got a bit of...
Good morning, everyone. There are very few broadcasters I can hold myself up to that are equal, if not more exemplary than myself. And I just want a big shout out to the new blurt. Oh, they are fantastic, such wonderful voices. Never before would you as an audience be so enthralled, and not only enthralled, but also informed with the news of the day, thanks to the new blurt. Oh, blurt sounds like my latest diagnosis. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Against it. But these fires are certainly not a function of climate change. They're just a function of life in Australia.
Why would a scientist want to change people's vote? I mean, this is you saw the spin over the past week as they drip fed.
A report that came out last month, which found 1 in 4 Americans is sceptical of all the effects of climate change and thinks this issue's been exaggerated.
It's cold.
You're listening to Green There, Done That on the New Blurt with Wencee and the Kegsta.
That's right. What I want to talk about today is a bit of sad news in the Green There, Done That world, being the environmental segment. Red Cycle, usually good news. you alluded to it in the intro about Red Cycle. Red Cycle has been around for about 10 years. They do the recycling of soft plastics around the nation. You've probably seen the big bins in the major supermarkets where you just dump all your soft plastics in. They can be your cheese bags, some of the chip packets and things like that.
Yep.
So any of that soft stuff that can't be recycled in your regular.
Oh, soft plastics, right? Okay, so
soft
Red Cycle
plastics.
does soft plastics. Okay,
correct. So the scheme, which started 10 years ago, was to address an issue where all that wasn't being recycled, but it could be recycled, and no one was doing anything about it. It's become so popular that in the last 3 years, it's grown 350% in the collection of soft plastics, that they've had to temporarily shut down the program because they've got so much stock of soft plastics that the third-party processors can't do anything or do anything quickly enough to recycle and reuse all that stuff. So I guess the aim of this little segment for me is where do we go from here? Where does the onus lie on it? Because when it was first reported in the news last week, all the news outlets I was listening to, they were all saying, oh, the supermarkets need to do more and this and that. And I was thinking, no, it's not the supermarkets. It's manufacturers and it's us consumers. We're the ones who have to demand from our the vendors who we buy things off. We need to start encouraging them to move away from plastics and come up with alternatives. So there's one processor, Close the Loop, that they're committed to continuing the program, but they're ramping up their factory to be able to take on more of the soft plastic. So hopefully sometime next year, even though it's only a month or two away, I suspect it'll be towards the latter half of 2023. Hopefully Close the Loop will start processing all that again, then the Red Cycle program can restart again. But I think for us and our listeners and viewers out there, what can we do? I think one of the first things that comes to mind for me is be conscious of your packaging, of what you've purchased. Make sure you're buying something, one, that can be recycled, or take your own product that can hold the product, like plastic bags at the fruit and veg section at the supermarkets. Just bring your own bag. Don't keep reusing those bags. Use it once and then you turf it. Another thing
I thought Queensland were bringing in no plastic bags at all.
I think that was New South Wales. They introduced something last week, I think it was. I don't think we're there yet in Queensland. Could be wrong, frequently am. But yes, so just maybe be aware of what you buy. There.
I mean, not to be Ron sanctimonious, but when I go to the supermarket, I only ever take our bags, excuse me, and the only thing I put in a bag is mushrooms, and they go in paper bags.
Paper bag, yes.
Everything else just sits in the trolley.
But don't forget the all the other products that you buy. If you like Mexican and you buy the taco shells, they always come in those little soft plastic bags.
Yes.
Inside the cardboard box.
Yes.
So all those things are things that the manufacturers need to come up with. That's a better solution rather than plastic.
Agreed.
So what else can we do? Hit the social media. Maybe target the Arnott's of the world, Nestle, General Mills, whoever are making those products that you love and enjoy. Just hit them up and say, "Hey, what are you going to do about it?"
Yeah, look, the biscuit packets are a shocker. Every single biscuit. I mean, apart from I think Ritz and Savoy and things like that, for a long time they've been doing boxes and foil inside.
Even the foil that gets thrown out.
Oh, is that that's not foil? That's like foil plastic.
I don't think that's foil. I think that would have gone into the Red Cycle
foil plastic
program.
right.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, look, I don't know what the answer is, but yeah, I mean, absolutely. As much as you can, minimise your plastics without a shadow of a doubt. Look, we're going to have a heart out tonight. As I said, I've got a heart out. I think what we'll do is we'll do Green There, Done That next week again.
Sweet. Sounds good.
Wednesday. Yeah, I think we'll
talk about your product.
Yeah,
or your
absolutely.
segment.
Yeah, we've got a couple of other things to talk about, and I'd like to discuss Red Cycle probably a little bit more. So we do that next week. I'm not sure what else we'll do next week. We'll probably do Joke of the Week next week, hey?
Yes, I had one lined up today, but we're short on time, so we won't do that.
All right, but we'll definitely get that done next week. So, yeah, join us next week, people. And thanks for joining us tonight. And when you listen to us on the pod, thanks very much for doing that. And I believe the email address is down below. How they can get
That is
to
now.
that. Look at that.
Great minds, great minds.
Super fast. So you can get us on thenewblurt.substack.com. If you subscribe to us, you always get a newsletter. You obviously get a pod in your pod app. And we've got blurtstar@gmail.com as well. You can get us on linktree/thenewblurt. That'll give you all the stuff we have. Look out, as Wencee so aptly told you about Instagram channels, YouTube channels, Facebook
and
channels.
coming to Mastodon soon.
Yes, beautiful.
For those who are moving from Twitter to Mastodon, we will be there.
Absolutely. Yes, we're going to just hang around and watch the bin fire because it's really interesting and
that's
very
a fun show. That one.
Very funny at the moment.
It
very
is
funny indeed. One of the funniest, and I know I need to get out. I need to get out, and I will now. But I just want to say this: one of the funniest things. There was a yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey.
Thank you very much. We are very, very happy to be back. And we missed it too, and we miss all our listeners. Anyway, what I was going to say was, there was a massive pharmaceutical company in America that had the blue check on Twitter, and it wasn't a real one. And it's said, so just so all our customers know, insulin is now free.
You can just see the stock prices for the Eli Lilly, I think it was.
Yes, it was. And they did 4.37 billion. It was terrible. Anyway, we'll talk more about that next week.
Yes, we will.
We might do Econobab or something. We'll talk about the Twitter disaster and all the rest of it. There's so many things to talk about that. So we'll get going. Good night from me. Fantastic to see you again. It's fantastic
Good to be back.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you, everyone.
See you, blessings.
Till next week.
Night.